Hello everybody. Today we are working on adding fractions with different denominators. So first we're going to look at our two denominators. So we have 10 and we have 2. So what you want to do is you want to find the least common multiple between 2 and 10. So that's not the factors that we talked about yesterday. The other day. This is multiples. So where you list the first 5 multiples for each number. So you go through the times tables. So like 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, so on and so forth. But Sarvagni actually mentioned the other day that asked if we could look at our biggest denominator and see if they are multiples of each other. So we're looking at 10, and 10 is obviously a multiple of 10 because 10 times 1 is 10. Now I'm going to see if 10 is a multiple of 2. So can 2 times something get me to 10? So 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 5 is 10. So your new denominator is going to be 10 because that's the least common multiple between the two. Now remember, what we do to the bottom, to find equivalent fractions, what we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So I'm going to do 2 times something gets me to 10. So 2 times 5 gets me to 10. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 1 times 5 is 5, so that gives me 5/10. Then for this fraction, I'm going to do 10 times 1. That gets me to 10. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So I'm going to do 7 times 1 is 7. Now I can add these together because these two fractions have the same denominators. Now remember, we do not add the denominators. We add the numerators. The denominator stays the same. So our denominator is 10, and I'm going to add 7 plus 5, which is 12. So that gives me 12/10. Now you'll notice my numerator is bigger than my denominator. So that makes it an improper fraction. So now I'm going to have to make this into a mixed number. The mixed number is when you have a whole number and a fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this quickly so that we can make 12/10 into an into a mixed number. All right, so just like we did going over mixed numbers yesterday, I have 12/10. To help me figure this out, I am going to divide 12 divided by 10. So I think, how many times can 10 go into 12? 1 time. I put the 1 up top. 10 times 1 is 10. 12 minus 10 is 2. 10 can't go into 2, and there's no other numbers to bring down, so that gives me my remainder 2. Okay? 1 is our whole number. Our denominator stays the same, so that's 10. Our numerator is our remainder, which is 2. So we have 1 and 2/10. But we're not done yet because we need to simplify the fraction, okay? Because our numerator is now smaller than our denominator, we need to make sure it is in simplest form. If it had a 1 as our numerator, we would know it's in simplest form, but otherwise we do not right now. So now we have to find the greatest common factor between these two numbers. So I'm going to write 1 and 2/10 over here because you'll see what I have to do. So we're going to list the factors for 2 and 10. Okay? You guys are great at this. So the factors of 2 are 1 and 2. Factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5, 10. The biggest number that both of these numbers have in common is the 2. We're going to take the 2, we're going to divide our numbers by 2. So we'll have 1 as our whole number. Remember, you're not dividing the whole number, you're only dividing the fraction. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5, so that gets us 1 and 1/5. I know it's a lot of steps, but you can rewind this video as many times as you need to if you need help on any of these today. Remember, this is also a review, so it might just take a little while to get your brain going on it again, okay? I would like to do one more with you guys, so just give me one moment. we are going to do 4/6 plus 1/3. So we have 4/6, 1/3. So our denominators here are 3 and 6. So you can either list the first 5 multiples for 3 and 6, or you can do what we just did and think 6 is the multiple of 6, obviously, because 6 times 1 is 6. Is 6 a multiple of 3? So 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. Yes, it is. So my new denominator is going to be 6. Okay, and like I said, if thinking it through like that doesn't work, list the first 5 multiples for each denominator. So to find equivalent fractions, what we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So 6 times 1 is 6. So now I'm going to have to do 4 times 1, which is 4, so I have 4/6. Now I have to think 3 times something gets me to 6. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. So now I have 2 fractions with the same denominators. Remember, we do not add denominators. It stays the same. So you have 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. So that gives me 6/6. Now, in this case, when the numerator and the denominator are the same, your simplified answer is 1, because 6 divided by 6 equals 1. Okay? So remember, if your numerator and your denominator are the same, you simplify it to 1. Okay? And I'm going to do one more. We are going to do 3/4 plus 1/12. So again, looking at our 2 denominators, 4 and 12. Okay? 12 is a multiple of 12 because 12 times 1 is 12. Now, I'm looking at 4 and thinking, is 12 a multiple of 4? So 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. Yes, that is their least common multiple. So I'm going to put 12 down here and 12 up here. So I'm going to say 4 times what gets me to 12? 4 times 3 gets me to 12. So what I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 3 times 3 equals 9. Now now from 12 to 12. 12 times 1 is 12. 1 times 1 is 1. I can now add them because I have 2 fractions with the same denominators. So remember, we don't add denominators. We have our 12, okay? And then I'm going to add 9 plus 1, which is 10. So that gives me 10/12. So I notice my numerator is smaller than my denominator. So I need to make sure it's in simplest form by listing the factors for each number. So I'm actually going to erase this so I have a little more space. So you're going to list the factors for 10 and 12. Okay? So I'm just going to write 10/12 up here. And I'm going to list the factors. So once again, you guys are great at listing factors. So for factors of 10, I have 1, 2, 5, and 10. For 12, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10. All right, I'm looking at the biggest number of these, and 12. I'm looking at the biggest number, 1, 2, 3, 4, my mistake, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Okay, I am now looking at the biggest number that these two have in common. So, I'm looking and I notice that they have 2 in common, but there's no numbers bigger than 2 that they both have in common. So I'm going to take the 2, I'm going to divide each problem by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So you get 5, 6. If you guys have any questions, you can shoot me a message on Seesaw or my email. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye.